trusted news source, ABC6 News at noon.
Right now at noon, we are following developing news out of Warwick. The man charged in a deadly crash on New Year's Day goes before a judge. Aramis Segura admitting in court to drinking and smoking pot before getting behind the wheel, causing the crash that killed an East Greenwich teenager. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi in court for the arraignment this morning. She is now live in Warwick with more. Laura?
Doreen, it was an emotional scene inside the courtroom today. Segura showed up in tears, barely able to say his name, and the family of the victim was there too. Olivia's father was actually kicked out of the courtroom after screaming "coward" to the suspect. Now we know 30-year-old Aramis Segura appeared before a judge in district court on the criminal charges related to the New Year's crash. He also appeared in Superior Court today as a bail violator for a previous breaking and entering charge. Segura will be held in jail on the Superior Court charges. For the one seen in District Court, the Rhode Island State Police asked the judge to increase bail from $10,000 to $250,000 with surety. We also learned a lot more about what happened that day. State police say after the crash, witnesses saw him leave the scene, return for a moment, and then leave again. He somehow got to East Greenwich, where he called his girlfriend using someone's cell phone. Police later found him hiding under his bed in his Charlestown home. That's where he admitted to operating the car, drinking 3 beers, and smoking marijuana before getting behind the wheel.
I have no words, except he has to pay, and we need justice for this man. Oh, I thought it was a big act. I liked the way he bent over, and yeah, I thought it was a big act.
You just heard there from a family member of the victim, Olivia Passaretti. They say they believe the suspect should have been behind bars a while ago. Segura has a lengthy criminal history with about 40 previous charges. Those include third-degree sexual assault, child molestation, shoplifting, and obstructing an officer. And this also comes on the same day as the vigil is being held for the victim, Olivia Passarelli. That'll be held at East Greenwich High School today at 4:30 p.m. We're going to be there as well and keep you updated on that. But for now, reporting live in Warwick, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC6 News.
All right, Laura, thank you. Also in court today, the man wanted for leaving the scene of a deadly crash in Lincoln on New Year's Day. Gregory Miller turned himself into police yesterday. Police say the 42-year-old was driving on Cobble Hill Road when he crashed into 2 telephone poles, then took off. His girlfriend was ejected from the car in the crash and died. We're going to have details of that arraignment starting tonight on ABC6 News, first at 4. New at noon today, Attleboro police asking for the public's help in tracking down 3 men who broke into a house on Peck Street early this morning. The homeowners noticed the 3 men in their basement on their home surveillance camera. They locked themselves in a bedroom and called 911. They said one of the men was holding a gun. The 3 men ended up taking off shortly after. No one was hurt. Anyone with information should call police. And in Fall River, a man charged with breaking into a photography studio. This happened last Tuesday at a studio on South Main Street. Joseph Costa is now facing a slew of charges, including breaking and entering. We're told Costa has been arrested in the past for similar charges. And now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus. Cases climbing to staggering levels while the FDA is expanding its recommendation for booster shots. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Today, the U.S. breaking yet another pandemic record, the country reporting more than 1 million cases on Monday. That number likely includes a backlog of tests from the holiday weekend, but the total is nearly double the previous daily record. Healthcare workers overwhelmed yet again.
The nursing staff is tired. We are burnt out. We're working 12 to 14-hour shifts, and on some days up to 16-hour shifts. Breaks are minimal. And it's just that busy, and people are just that sick.
In New York, hospitalizations back to levels not seen since last January.
We're not in a good place. I'm going to be really honest with you. This is the winter surge we predicted.
Some of the sharpest increases in hospital admissions recorded in the Southeast, with the numbers of newly admitted patients jumping 64% between Christmas and the New Year. The influx could get worse following the holiday. But the good news, more protection could soon be on the way for more Americans. The FDA authorizing Pfizer booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds. The CDC is expected to sign off Wednesday, and shots could be available as early as Thursday.
It's more important now than ever for all teens to go out there and get all 3 of their vaccinations.
I hope people can do their part, get vaccinated, decrease the number of people who need hospital beds, so that these other folks who are really sick have a chance they can get the care that they need. It's really bad right now.
Meantime, the CDC director has already endorsed the FDA's recommendation that everybody 12 and up originally vaccinated with Pfizer get their booster after 5 months instead of 6. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And Metcalf Elementary School in Exeter is closed today because of what the school calls a staffing crisis. Students will not learn virtually either. The day will be added to the calendar in June instead. That's because the available staff from Metcalf is being shifted to other Exeter West Greenwich schools. And one other school cancellation to report, Pontiac High School is learning virtually today. All other schools in the Foster Gloucester District are in person. Changes to the visitor policy at Mass General Brigham start today. It covers Brigham and Women's Hospital, Mass General, and Mass Eye and Ear, among others. 2 visitors will be allowed to inpatients, but only 1 at a time. And here's a key change. Vendors on site will have to be vaccinated against both COVID-19 and the flu. That does not go for people visiting patients, just any other visitor to the hospitals. And the longest strike in Massachusetts state history has officially come to an end. After more than 300 days on strike, nurses at St. Vincent Hospital in Worcester ratified a new contract with Tenet Health last night. That means all the striking nurses can return to their original positions. The new deal also increases staffing and reduces the nurse-to-patient ratio. Roughly 700 nurses went on strike back in March. And now to the weather. On a very cold afternoon, the sun may be shining here on our sky cam, but Chelsea, it certainly didn't make it any warmer out there.
No, it's very chilly outside today, Doreen. We're looking at perfect sunshine. I mean, not a cloud in sight. We're sitting at 30 degrees, though, right now, and there is a little bit of a breeze that's coming in from the north-northwest, and that makes us feel more like the low 20s. Temperatures across the area are now in the mid to upper 20s in most spots, about 30 degrees in Providence, slowly warming up a bit from the teens that we had this morning. And the breeze is slowly backing down, but that doesn't stop us from feeling much cooler, especially with even just a light breeze. Still feeling like 18 in Newport, 22 in Providence, 25 in Smithfield, 27 in Westerly. Again, perfect sunshine today. We'll continue to see sunshine through the afternoon into the early evening hours, and then some clouds will start to increase as we head through very late tonight and into tomorrow morning. That helps us stay a little bit warmer overnight. You're noticing by 9 p.m. we're down to the upper 20s. It looks like we'll hover in the upper 20s through about midnight, and then from there you'll slowly start to see temperatures climbing. We actually make it into the 50s tomorrow, but that's going to come with rain. Those warm temps are short-lived. I have some accumulating snow potentially in the forecast late this week. All the details in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Still to come here on ABC6 News at noon. Elizabeth Holmes guilty. The disgraced CEO convicted of defrauding investors. How much time she could spend behind bars. And concerns about security threats ahead of the 1-year anniversary of the Capitol riots. What police are doing to prepare for any potential violence. In national headlines this afternoon, Elizabeth Holmes will soon learn how many years she'll spend in prison after a jury convicted her yesterday of defrauding investors in her blood testing company, Theranos. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest.
7 days after a jury began deliberating her case, 37-year-old Elizabeth Holmes walking out of federal court Monday, a convicted felon. The jurors finding Holmes guilty on 4 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud for intentionally deceiving investors, telling them her company Theranos had a groundbreaking blood testing technology that could run hundreds of tests with only a few drops of blood.
We've made it possible to run comprehensive laboratory tests from a tiny sample or a few drops of blood.
That was misleading, but it helped Holmes raise more than $700 million from wealthy financiers, from media mogul Rupert Murdoch to the family of former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and the heirs to the Walmart fortune, the Waltons. The trial spanning 15 weeks, 32 witnesses taking the stand, including former Defense Secretary James Mattis, who sat on the Theranos board with the likes of former Secretaries of State Henry Kissinger and George Shultz. Holmes also taking the stand in her own defense. Asked if she misled investors, Holmes replied, of course not. But during a previous sworn deposition, Holmes admitted a number of her prior claims were not always accurate.
I know that we made so many mistakes.
Out of the 11 charges against her, the jury unable to reach a verdict on 3. They also found Holmes not guilty on 4 other counts.
But in the end, there were 4 guilty verdicts here, which I think is clearly a loss for Elizabeth Holmes and something that the prosecutors are probably quite pleased about.
And Holmes faces up to 20 years on each of those 4 counts she's convicted of. But legal experts say federal sentencing guidelines mean she'll likely only serve a fraction of that time behind bars. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
Concerns over security threats as we approach the 1-year anniversary of the Capitol riots. Even though no specific threat has been identified, Homeland Security is alerting law enforcement around the country that violent offenders may try to use the upcoming anniversary as a way to promote or possibly commit violence.
It's extremely important for city and county police departments to obviously be aware of people that live in their community.
Police say they will only put up extra fencing or call the National Guard if new information about a threat comes in. Well, coming up, an about face on 5G, why Verizon and AT&T decided to postpone the launch again. And a new collar for Fido that tracks your pup's health and location. In consumer news this noontime, AT&T and Verizon have both now agreed to delay the rollout of new 5G technology for another 2 weeks. This announcement is a reversal of the company's decision a day earlier to reject any postponement in new 5G service. Both wireless giants say 5G is safe, but airlines, plane makers, and regulators aren't convinced. They worry that it could interfere with safety systems on airplanes around airports. Well, say goodbye to your older BlackBerry devices using the company's legacy operating systems. They no longer work as of today. The last version of BlackBerry's operating system launched in 2013 and at its peak had more than 80 million active users. Android devices with the BlackBerry name are not affected. And meet the new smart collar being called an Apple Watch for your dog. The collar by Invoxia can monitor a dog's heart rate and breathing, even through thick fur. The collar comes with a GPS tracker as well. It's expected to hit the market this summer for about $100. And maybe you could buy a few of those if you win the Powerball. No one won last night in that $540 million Powerball jackpot. So that means tomorrow night's drawing will be at least an estimated $575 million. There is something to note. All Massachusetts lottery claim centers are closed this week due to a rise in COVID cases in the state.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Now, don't come after me. I'm not trying to brag, but I won $11 last night on the Powerball. So to say there's no winners is not quite accurate. That's the most I think I've ever won a Powerball ticket. Too bad it wasn't enough to fly someplace warm because it is chilly outside today. Perfectly sunny. It's looking really pretty over Block Island. In fact, I was noticing a few people actually walking along the beach. It's bitterly cold though. Temperatures over Block Island in the 20s right now. 26 in Newport, 30 in Providence, 25 in Smithfield, 27 in Westerly. Now, typically this time of year, the average low is 23 degrees. We're closer to that right now than we are the average high, which is 39 degrees. We'll warm up tomorrow, but today it's going to stay pretty chilly out there. The breeze has been backing down from some of the gusty winds that we had overnight and into early this morning. In fact, winds are calm for Taunton and New Bedford at the moment, but even a light breeze, only about 3 to 5 miles per hour, up to about 9 in Providence, makes us feel so much cooler. The wind chill for Block Island, 20 degrees. 18 is how it feels in Newport right now, 22 in Providence, 25 in Smithfield, teens to our north in Worcester and Boston right now. So again, we are seeing very chilly conditions across the area today. Now tomorrow we'll jump into the 50s. That's going to come with more clouds. It's going to come with breezy conditions and some rain, especially through the afternoon and early evening. And then from there, there's a little bit of a downward trend in the coming days after our little warm up tomorrow. That 34 degrees on Friday, going to be an important number that we watch as we head through the day on Friday, because I do have the potential for accumulating snow in the forecast. Still narrowing down some details, but there's some decent agreement at this point that we do get some accumulating snow during the daytime on Friday. We'll get to that in just a minute. Satellite radar image is quiet and clear right now. You're seeing sunshine outside. We'll see sunshine for the rest of the afternoon. Into the evening hours, you're going to see clouds increasing very late tonight as the breeze starts to shift. And that'll keep us a little bit warmer into tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow should start dry. What you're seeing on your futurecast is those clouds thickening up, a few little sprinkles showing up, but for the most part, a relatively dry morning. From there, by late morning, early afternoon, some rain showers start to move in, and we deal with rain through the afternoon, through your evening drive home. But again, temperatures are in the 50s. It'll be a bit breezy as well as we dry out and clear out into Thursday, but it is cooler on Thursday, more seasonable, with highs down to about 40 degrees. Now I'm going to jump ahead to Friday morning. It looks like shortly before sunrise, which sunrise is around 7:15 a.m. at this point, you're going to start to see some snow moving in, and there is the potential right now that we get a good amount of snow, some accumulating snow that may be enough that we would have to shovel or potentially plow. That being said, you can see that line of mixing and rain just offshore. There is still uncertainty with the path of this system. So this is an early heads up that there may be some accumulating snow on Friday, but I'm going to urge you to stay tuned for some details. It looks to move through pretty quickly by late afternoon, early evening on Friday. Things are clearing out. It's breezy and much cooler as we head into Saturday, with morning temperatures back down into the teens and afternoon highs topping out only around 30 degrees on Saturday, 40s on Sunday with some overnight rain. Doreen?
Chelsea, thank you. Pick Up the Litter is next at noon. Today, meet this older bunny looking for a forever home.
Pick of the Litter, brought to you by Moriarty's Invisible Fence.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday. That means it's time for Pick of the Litter. Wayne is here today. Olivia is here today. And you have brought with you Spinosaurus, is her name?
We brought Spinosaurus.
Okay.
We named her that because she was so skinny when we got her.
Aww.
She was abandoned in a motel room with 3 other rabbits, and we've had her for close to 3 months.
Oh, wow. So just getting her back into healthy shape.
We got her back to the point where now we probably would have named her something else if we got her now.
Right.
She's an older girl. She's 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
She's a spayed female. And because of her age, she's not going to last all that much longer. We think a bunny of her size should live to 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
So so we're looking for someone who knows they're getting into a short-term situation.
Sure, because she's a little bit older.
Yeah.
She's a golden girl, I said just a little while ago.
She is. She's a staff favorite. She's just a cuddly, sweet girl.
Right, she's super sweet.
When you come in the morning, she comes right out to greet you. And she'd be a great lap bunny for someone.
Right.
And because of her age, she's free. There's no charge for the adoption.
Okay.
And, you know, she's got because of her age, she's on vitamins, but other than that, she's just like any other bunny. She'd be fun to have around.
All right, so a companion for somebody. Maybe
Yes.
not necessarily little kids with a lot of energy. You think she wants to chill a little bit, or?
She does want to chill,
Okay.
but she's, we think she'd be kid-friendly, but we'd love to get someone with some bunny experience or someone who just has time to spend with her, because she's just a sweet girl.
She deserves a perfect home. She's super sweet and has been through a lot. So we need to find Spinosaurus a name. You can contact the RISPCA at 401-438-8150. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, still ahead, the newest attractions at a zoo in Venezuela will tell you what they are and how the zoo hopes these little ones will bring in the visitors. Plus, Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast when we come back. New year, new zoo, zoo creatures, that is. 4 wallabies, including 2 albinos, are now the newest attractions at Venezuela's largest zoo. The country's zoos and national parks haven't escaped the impact of the long-running economic crisis there. Officials hope these wallabies will attract more visitors, as well as other species. They're cute to look
They're
at.
so cute.
Yes. I would
Hopping
go-
around.
Yeah, I'd go see them.
I know, enjoying some warmer weather.
Yes,
I'm sure.
much.
It's chilly outside here in southern New England today. We're seeing sunshine, but temperatures are only in the low 30s. The breeze is backing down, but even a light breeze is making us feel even cooler. Tomorrow's much warmer. We'll wake up in the 30s. We'll see afternoon highs in the low 50s with rain moving into the area. We clear out for Thursday. There is the potential for accumulating snow on Friday. Still narrowing down some details. We're still a few days out, but an early heads up for that. Tune in for Jeff this evening. He'll have a full update for you, and I'll have more details for you tomorrow morning. Doreen?
All right, sounds like I'm driving to the bus stop, Chelsea, with the heater on. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great afternoon.